Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you're having a great day. We're having a nice, quiet, rainy afternoon here, and it's just been lovely to come in and do some tarot reading during the rain. This will be your weekly reading for the week of June 15th through the 21st, and during that time, we will have a waning gibbous moon. And a waning gibbous is a good time for self-reflection and rebirth, good time to make positive changes, get rid of bad habits and negative thinking, and kind of just working towards your goals. We then move into the last quarter moon on the 19th. And, that time of reflection continues, but we start to, let go of the things that are no longer serving us and get ready for new beginnings. Time to take responsibility for past actions and just kind of let things go as we start to head into the new cycle. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter this week, Sagittarius. So please keep that in mind. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't for someone else. And excuse my sniffling, I've got a little bit of a summer cold going here. Your overall message for this reading, Sagittarius, is look at the bigger picture. So yeah, if there's some sniffling or maybe sneezing, which has happened a couple times as my nose gets tickly on me. Like, let's get this one summer cold out of the way. I'll be done with it for the whole season, right? All right, as I'm shuffling, I would like to say that since my readings are free to you, all that I ask in return is that you hit the subscribe button. It really helps my channel. It's super, super easy for you to do. So I will give you just a moment while I'm shuffling to do that right now. Thank you so much. And if you've been a subscriber, thank you for coming back and helping me build a community here. I see you and I do appreciate you. All right, Sagittarius, and my weekly reminder this week is that you notice the world around you when it comes to synchronicities, not only this week, but every week, of course. So, synchronicities, it's like another language. Once you unlock it and start seeing things in the universe, and, it's kind of your unique path. And it's the universe just kind of showing you little things to help you. So this could come in the form of repeating number patterns. This could be a song that you overhear, conversation. It's just, there's so many different ways that I can't even express the ways that I've had this happen to me, where I'm like, okay, that's very significant in my life right now. And I have an example from yesterday, which is animals. So yesterday I was outside and I noticed this group of blackbirds chasing a squirrel. And they were chasing the squirrel through a tree, and it was like 3 or 4 or 5 birds. And I mean, they were really attacked. I've never seen squirrels attack or birds attack a squirrel like this. He must have been into their nest or done something to make him mad. And he found a little nesting area where he could hide, and he's way up in this tree. And these birds were so patient and just, up there squawking and talking. It's like, that's when you want to understand what the language of birds is. It's like, what are they saying to each other? Because they're squawking. Some of them are down below. They're kind of flying around, but just, they were relentless. And I could not get over the patience of this group of birds to really stick with it and to get to the squirrel. I mean, it went on for so long that I came inside. It was getting dark out and I needed to come in the house. It was getting chilly. So I didn't get to see the end of the story. Anyway, all that to say that sometimes I think we get to witness an animal encounter like that so that we can think of areas in our life where we need to apply that. And I'm still thinking about it, and I'm not even sure in what area, and is it the representation of the squirrel or the blackbird? Is there something going on in my life where I can apply those types of energies? Anyway, so that's what I mean by watching for synchronistic type things, and especially when it comes to animals. So, all right, without further ado, and I will stop the rambling. Sagittarius, June 15th through the 21st. Look at the bigger picture. Your overall present energy right now is the 5 of Cups. So a little bit of grief, a little bit of sadness. Looks like there's something going on that you're not super thrilled about. But again, we're going to look at the bigger picture. We all go through times like this. And my apologies if you're feeling a little bit sad about something. And I always like to say, don't forget, these cups are down, but don't forget that, you've got a couple cups here behind you. So make sure that you're paying attention to those things as well. Your current situation is the Six of Pentacles. So, I always like to ask people when I'm reading, what is happening in this card? And some people will instantly say, well, this person is giving to these people in need. And some people will say, this person is receiving something that they need from this person. So, and I feel like, whatever your first instinct is how to read this card. I think it can go either way. Um, and I think, sometimes we're in a time where we can give, and sometimes we need to be in the place where we can receive, which is sometimes even harder than giving, for certain signs. So if you're in either of those positions, do so freely, and receive with gratitude, and give everything that you can. At the root of your situation is the Six of Swords. So a couple of sixes coming out here. And sixes are, funny after fives. Fives are kind of our cards of chaos as you're going through cycles of things, where six kind of, okay, we're back on the path again. So here we are with the Six of Swords, and we're moving forward in some very calm waters, and we're moving towards new thoughts, new ideas, new ways of communicating. So that's at the root of your situation here. In your recent past is the Page of Pentacles. So it looks like you have been on some sort of new path when it comes to your material world or your financial world. This could be a new job. This could be doing something new at your job. Having a different approach with something. This could be just kind of starting a new project. So and we're just coming in with this mindset of, you're going to give it your all. You're going to think about this new way of being, and you might be a little bit sad about, things that have happened, or changes that you have to go through, or whatever is happening around you. But I think you'll get over it. I think you're going to be just fine as you move forward. What's on your mind this week is Temperance. So balancing everything out. Again, we're looking at the bigger picture. Whatever these changes are, they are changes, and changes aren't always fun, and sometimes we're sad about them, and you just kind of have to get over it and move on. Feel it, you don't just push it down, but feel it, be sad about it, and then, let's move on. What is just ahead of you is, a little bit of anxiety. So this is you trying to work through whatever this grief and sadness is with this Nine of Swords. So yeah, it's causing you some anxiety, but your mind is to try to keep the balance, is try to kind of see both sides, the negative and the positive, as you move through whatever this change is for you. So, you might have a couple of sleepless nights worrying about this, but I feel like you're going to work through this. In your advice position is the King of Pentacles. So, this is saying, it is what it is. You're going to have to move forward. And this is you moving forward in the knowledge, especially this is how the world works. And it's not fun all the time. And again, we all kind of go through these cycles, and it'll get better. It'll get better. That's you. I feel like that's you just in that king energy. Like, that's how the world is. That's how the material world works. Got to get out there and get after it. All right, what is beyond your control this week is the Four of Wands. So a little bit of a celebration. And hopefully, maybe it is, maybe the middle of your week might be like, but you're going to get to a point where it's beyond your control to kind of celebrate. Like, yay, look, we made it through this week. Even though I was anxious and I was sad about it, I kept my wits about me. I kept things balanced, and I kept the reality of that. That's the way the world is, and I'm going to celebrate that fact. So cut yourself a little bit of slack, and definitely take time to do that celebration. Hold on just a second. Wow. I try to make a sneeze. Not happen. Or happen, excuse me, with the sneezies there. All right, secret desire, what you're trying to avoid is the Death card. So you're trying to avoid some sort of ending, or it's your secret desire to have this sort of ending. And I might sneeze. One more. Excuse me, you can't just sneeze once around here. It's got to be twice. Are you trying to avoid this ending, or is it your secret desire to have this end? Excuse sorry. Is it your secret desire to have that ending, or are you trying to avoid that? Let me see if a drink of water will help me. Goodness me. Okay, maybe that did it. We'll see. Anyway, are you trying to avoid this ending, or is it your secret desire? Only you can answer that in that position. So that's going to be kind of your big question for the week. And your outcome is, ultimately you're going to be happy about it. It's, again, this, I kind of feel like this is like a little bump in your road, a little bit of change. It's causing you some anxiety, but you're going to get through it. You're going to celebrate yourself at the end of the week that, yay, I did get through that. And again, look at the bigger picture. You've just got to kind of keep your eye on that prize of the bigger picture, for the whole week. What is hidden from you this week is a little bit of disappointment. So, we've already got this disappointment here showing up with the 5. That's a little bit more than just annoying. I mean, you're really sad about this, and I'm so sorry, but it's just a change that's got to happen, and you do have to look at the bigger picture. So, let's get a final word here from the Soul Oracle deck. And this is your big question right here, is this death card, which I don't even see as actual death. This is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid. And it's either your secret desire to have something just, death is an ending, and is to have this new, fresh beginning, or you're trying to avoid that. That's your big question for the week. That's probably what's causing you all this anxiety, but you're going to get through it. You've got the Sun at the end. You're going to be just fine. The Sun is the happiest card in the deck. It's you doing the things that need to get done. It's you nurturing yourself and those around you. And that's just what you have to do. All right. Final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Be creative. So whatever this is that you're facing, you certainly have the skills as a Sagittarius, and how spontaneous you guys are. Be creative in your solutions there, and revive the dormant. So it looks like there might be something here in your past that maybe you've had a break from. Maybe you just had a break. You've got to revive the dormant. You've got something that's, again, I feel like it's some sort of change here. This could be work related here with this Page of Pentacles. Again, it could be like a new project that you're starting, but you're going to revive something from your past. You're going to be creative about it. You're going to look at the bigger picture, and you're going to get through whatever this change, this ending, and this new beginning. That's what death is. It's not just an ending, but it's a new beginning and a new way of being. And I think you're going to be just fine with it with the Sun card. So Sagittarius, I wish you the best of luck with this week. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a message down below and let me know what kind of things are you going through? What kind of endings did you go through this week that made you happy at the end, that you just had to do? Anyway, I'm here every week. I do weekly readings, and if you like my reading today, you can subscribe and like, and that will help you find me next week. Come back and we'll see if this energy continues next week, or if it's something completely new here for you. So once again, thank you so much for being here, Sagittarius, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.